Can I please have Rich Wertman to the stage? Rich was close friends with EMT Ethan Amsbaugh and will be sharing his story.
Good afternoon. It's interesting how everyone describes everything as being a family. And sometimes you don't recognize how close everybody in this room is a family. I have served in fire EMS for the past 20 years. I work for the Department of Emergency Services now, working in emergency planning. And I'm always the guy, when something goes wrong, I'm the one that has the plans that calls the agencies to come in. I met Ethan in 2010, and it was interesting as being a gay firefighter to meet another gay firefighter. It was kind of exciting. It was like a diamond in the rough in a way, and I was so excited when I met him, and he wanted no interest in me whatsoever. He was solely focused on just helping the community. At that point in time, Ethan wasn't an EMT. He would volunteer where he could with the local volunteer fire departments and EMS at that matter. And you know, he had this infectious smile. I look at the picture in the memorial in his gear, the center picture, and he could just light up a room. Ethan didn't sweat the little things. In fact, I remember when he went to go take his EMT course and went to go take his test, and being in fire EMS, sometimes becoming an EMT can be very challenging. A lot of us don't like written tests at all. I, for one, suck at it. And I'm just like, can I just get a certificate, you know, and we move on. But Ethan passing the EMT test wasn't because, you know, he was getting credentials. It was because he knew that in Franklin County, where I come from, all of our paramedics are chase units. So the paramedics show up separate from the ambulance. He knew now that he was able to ride in that chase unit to bring it back to the hospital with the red lights on. That's all he wanted to do, was to play with the red lights and sirens. It didn't mean, for anybody else, it's like, oh, please, let me just pass this EMT test. Nope, for Ethan, it was just, I want to play with the red lights and sirens. He was a true kid at heart for everything. For several years, I was part of PA EMS Task Force 1. We were deployed to hurricane situations, and I can finally remember one night sitting in a medic bay, getting ready to deploy in New Jersey, and Ethan hitting me up on Messenger being like, hey, if you need anything, I'll be right down. You guys need food before you leave? Is there anything I can do? And Ethan was right there to help out. I remember when Ethan was killed, it was a shockwave. And one of the things that stood out in my head was everyone kept on saying, well, did you know he was gay? And I wanted to be like, did it matter? He was just the first responder trying to help people out. Didn't matter what his sexuality was. And coming from some of the ignorance that we see, I was blown away that it didn't matter how much volunteer time Ethan had done, from starting the junior program in his fire department to being there whenever we needed trucks washed, at any station. If a transfer was needed, Ethan would be the first one to shoot right up because he knew he could drive the ambulance. It never mattered, though, to me, that he was gay. And it blew my mind. And looking throughout this room with so many LGBTQ officers here and first responders, you have to pause sometimes and think, why should it matter? We're all just here to help the greater cause. But then again, we all are a small number compared to other genders in society, it seems like, and it truly does become a family when you look around. I want to thank Scott for reaching out to me. Ethan would be really happy, right? He was never honored as a gay EMT or firefighter. It was just, you know, you couldn't really say that. And that, it just shows the times of 10 years ago, and even further when I first even came out. Things are changing, and hopefully they're changing for the best. So surround yourselves with the loved ones that you have, and always make sure it doesn't matter what your sexuality is. We're all just here to help. And whether you're a peace officer, firefighter, EMS, or working in military, I thank you all.
Thank you, Rich.